Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Neverwinter. Since last time, there has been a hell of a lot that's happened. It's been probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks since I've recorded an episode, and about the better part of a week since I've uploaded one. Some achievement stuff is going to pop up for my other characters, but since last time, there was a 7-8 hour rollback of Neverwinter. There was an auction house exploit where you could place items up for a negative amount, and then when you purchased the item, you could basically you got the negative amount as a positive. So it's like, oh yeah, I put that up for negative 1 billion. So it's going to subtract negative 1 billion from my Astral Diamond stash. And basic mathematics, when you're dealing with negatives and positives, same add, different subtract. So when you minus a minus, you add them, so you're actually taking your Astral Diamonds plus the negative amount, so in that case you'd get 1 billion Astral Diamonds. We're going to start working over towards the quest stuff we're doing. We're just going to have to do that in the background. We're gathering some sludge samples. And yeah, so people were exploiting that in the auction house. They went ahead and shut down everything. The servers, I believe, were down for a while. And they ended up rolling back the game for a little while. This was after the course of a day or two downtime. Now, the auction house at this exact moment, unless they put it back up since a few minutes ago, if I go here, unable to search for items, please try again. The auction house is currently down again. People are speculating that it's due to a, where's that sludge pile? Due to a chest exploit that people were using that was fixed a couple days ago. Players found out that if you go find a chest somewhere and opened it, then logged out, logged back in, and then you were able to open the chest instantly and you were standing next to it, so you could just do this over and over. If you had like a solid state drive, you could do that like every 10-15 seconds or so, or about 20-25 seconds for people with old crappy hard drives like me. Kill something over there too? Yeah, I guess so. So, earlier today there were stacks and stacks and stacks of enchantments or enhancements, I don't know which, on the auction house, so that's why people are speculating they're investigating the source of all those and shutting down the auction house. In the meantime, to make sure there isn't, in fact, another dupe going out in the wild, or exploit, or something that will cause big problems. So, the auction house is once again currently down. Since last time as well, I have gotten to level 60 in this game. It's a fun game to play, but I can't help but feel that endgame is a little underwhelming. Especially since they nerfed the foundry experience. I haven't really talked much about the foundry stuff, but players can create their own stories, quests, adventures, and other players can go ahead and play those quests and adventures. They decided that because, you know, of course people are going to try to exploit it, so they'd stick stacks of ogres near cliffs so you could just knock off 20-30 ogres at the same time, get huge chunks of experience and loot all at once. Or just, you know, a bunch of ogres next to each other that you could AoE down quickly. People are exploiting this, like, people, they do that kind of thing. Their solution to it was to place an XP limiter in the game. If you get 2 bubbles worth of experience, so say I went to the foundry, if I got up to about here, where my mouse is, in 2 minutes, 4 minutes after that, as in 4 minutes, the number 4, for 4 minutes, you get no experience and no loot whatsoever. So at endgame, this then means that you're going to be using potions, some of the stuff scales up and you actually can get pretty difficult. So, you're not going to be getting the greater identification scrolls, which you need to identify level 60 equipment. The greater ID scrolls are uncommon enough as it is. You don't really get enough, period. The only way to get them is through buying Astral Diamonds.
Most folks consider the Blacklake a polluted mess, but for an alchemist, it's brimming with possibilities. Excellent! With these samples, I'll finally be able to discover if the sludge is animal, vegetable, mineral, or undead. This will be a huge help to me research. There are some reagents you don't want to use on undead sludge, believe me.
Undead sludge, huh? Alrighty then. And one more quest NPC before I continue my rant. I'm sure we have a skill point to spend as well. Where am I putting it? Dazing Strike, because it is friggin' awesome. And let's not run past the quest NPC.
Move along now. Excellent. Your work is subtle and complete, and that's all I ask of any agent. While I'm not finished putting you to good use, I'm done for now. Go on about your business. I'll send word when you're needed again.
Alrighty then. Apparently we are done here, unless I'm missing something over here. Yeah, I guess we're done. It says to go over here, I'm gonna just backtrack. So yeah, greater identification scrolls. They are not very common at all. The lesser ones that we're currently working with, that I may not in fact have any of at the moment, for the most part, you'll have more than you need. Same thing with the just plain old regular identification scrolls. You'll tend to have more than you need. The greater ones, you just simply will not. So, what basically happens is you have the choice then. You can buy identification scrolls from the Wondrous Bazaar. They may not show here. Okay, they are here. 125 astral diamonds apiece. And then sell an item for a green identified item for 10 silver, or you can sell it for 1 silver unidentified. So you gotta have the astral diamonds really to identify these stacks of greens you're gonna be finding, and you will find a lot of them. On top of that, the foundries tend to either be. It's very hard to find a foundry mission that is, it's perfectly balanced. You can progress through it with really no issue. They tend to either be. Let me rephrase this slightly. Combat foundry missions. There are some story and puzzle ones that really don't involve combat, in which case potions are kind of a non-issue. The combat ones tend to either be way too easy and you blow through it and you're just killing so quick that you end up with that lock I mentioned, or there's a bunch of extremely difficult fights, in which case you're popping potions constantly and there's just no way that the loot drops end up covering it because your loot's getting turned off constantly. So a lot of people are frustrated about that. Some people are even as far as angry and pissed off and rage quitting. People act like people do. So there's a good portion of players that, it's not supposed to be about the loot. There's already no chests.
Protectors Enclave
Now we gotta
need
listen to
your
this
help.
guy talking.
The crown of Neverwinter is back in the vault. The national rebellion is over. And
Yay.
Carlisle's many victims have some justice.
Yay!
I knew you were the one to watch, but this is more than I could have dared hope for.
Piece of cake.
I think I almost dismissed you that day on the Sleeping Dragon Bridge. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad you've come to Neverwinter. But it ain't over yet.
It's never over. Trouble in the Tower District and Nest Egg.
I've got disturbing reports from the Seven Sons Coster Market. There are kobolds loose in this city. We can't let them get a foothold in the Enclave. We'll never be rid of them. The kobolds robbed Grace Rathburn's market stall in broad daylight. The thieves made their escape through a small sewer grate. I'd like you to track the kobolds down and retrieve Grace's stolen jewelry.
Oh, hey, that was the end of the conversation. I was waiting for more.
There's trouble brewing in the Tower District. The many Arrows orcs have taken over the area, and the Neverwinter Guard could use some help dealing with them. Considering your success in Blacklake, I think you might be just what we need. Go to the Tower District and meet with Sergeant Creed at the Fallen Tower Tavern. He can tell you more.
Alright. So a lot of people about the Foundry are considering it, looking at it as, well, you should just be doing it for the story, for the lore. People have this tool to create whatever they want. You should respect that and appreciate it for what it is. I think that would be fine and well, except a lot of people, it doesn't have to be great loot, but people want to get something out of it, which I don't think is terribly unreasonable. And just not having loot, period, I think will deter a lot of players from actually going to bother. It's like, well, why would I bother with that when I get absolutely nothing? I'm essentially wasting my time. Or if I have to use a bunch of potions, I'm actually not only wasting my time, as they put it, I'm actually spending money to go experience these quests and stories and adventures and what have you, that quite often are not exactly top-notch. A lot of them are kind of terrible. There's a lot that are nice and polished and are great, don't get me wrong. A lot of them leave something to be desired. It's like, really, did you even bother to proofread this huge paragraph? There's 30 typos in that 2-paragraph block. Never mind the grammar, which is not even close to being remotely English-sounding. And then why the heck halfway through did you spontaneously switch to Spanish for 3 words and then go back to English? No, here's some German and French mixed in. There's some weird Foundry author writing stuff that are actually kind of rated fairly well. So, there's a lot of debate on it. There's some big, huge threads on the forum about it, and... Oh, and I'm standing in a trap.
I'll be okay. Just need a rest for a bit. Hello, friend. Afraid you haven't caught me at my best. Stabbed, you see. Kobolds are nasty little buggers. I represent one of Neverwinter's leading citizens. He discovered his place of business was burglarized during the night. The thieves made off with a little money and a lot of important business records. I was offered a fee to recover the stolen scrolls. Since I'm not fond of human waste, nor being stabbed, I'm offering you a portion of this fee. Once you've found the scrolls, take them to my associate. He's waiting for me, just outside the sewer entrance.
Alright, sounds simple, straightforward enough. Find scrolls. And as I'm saying, there's a lot of debate and arguments going on about it, and it's something that Cryptic and Perfect World have to figure out what the heck they want to do with it. Ideally, they work out a new mechanism to test exploit maps somehow, or to detect them, or just require higher ratings. And there's also the issue, too, that already by default, there's no treasure chest except for the end chest, and there is no resource or profession nodes scattered about, like that little plant here in the corner, which I probably don't have a nature kit for anyway. Yeah, I don't. There's none of those, there's no regular treasure chests scattered about, so maps sometimes feel kind of... You lose a lot of potential for creating interesting stuff when you can't, like, oh, there's a little interesting corner here, or a little hard to get to area that you kind of explored and found. I'm gonna give you a chest for getting here, or a little adventure node. Or adventure node. A resource node, and I fell and missed a jump and landed on another trap, and I walk into a second one. Okay, I'm totally not on that second trap, but I got hit by it anyway. So yeah, Foundry. Lots of controversy about it. Personally, I think I might have said my personal opinion of it. You need some loot. You don't want players to be losing money and spending resources with absolutely zero return. So they definitely need to do something on that regard and not punish legitimate players for the actions of people who are exploiting the system. Yeah, the exploiting needs to be reined in a little bit, but there are better ways to do it than they have done at the moment. Let's get this pile of scrolls. Now, back to my point about the endgame. The Foundry would ideally be what you would do at endgame, you know, World of Warcraft, Rift. There's usually some stuff to occupy you as a solo player. World of Warcraft, you had stuff like a bunch of PvP stuff to queue for, there's usually some sort of open area to do. Like open world PvP kind of stuff. There's dailies all over the place you can do for reputation. There's reputation grinding you can do. So there's stuff to keep you occupied. Rift, again, you had reputation stuff, daily quests. There were the Chronicles, and the Chronicles, which were 1 or 2 person dungeons, basically. Neverwinter, you basically have PvP, which I guess is okay if you like PvP. That's something to keep you occupied. Skirmishes, which we did one previous episode, or dungeons. Beyond that, you basically have the choice of Foundry, or you can go farm lower level stuff in PvE for hope of getting some little items that you can sell for, you know, it's like grind out gold the old-fashioned way. I don't want guild management tab. So, endgame at this point is kind of lacking. And again, people, oh, well, you shouldn't have ground up to endgame so quick on a game that's still in open beta. Well, it's like, it's not really the player's fault that experience gain is as quick as it is. Like, you do level extremely quickly in this game just by playing the game. You don't need to exploit. You can get to max level in about 30-40 hours of gameplay, which, yeah, might seem like a lot, but a semi-casual gamer, maybe 2.5-3 hours a night, you're talking getting maxed in within 2 weeks already, just with that, if they're kind of just doing the quests. So it's not entirely the player's fault that experience is as quick as it is. Which, again, goes back to what do Perfect World and Cryptic plan to do about this? At this point, they're in open beta. They've already said that most likely there is not going to be another character wipe before they go to open full release status. So what we have is what we get. So you're going to have players at endgame. You're going to have the players who've been farming like all hell at endgame. So it'll be interesting to see what approach they actually take in that regard. Another issue is dungeons are basically not worth running prior to endgame. The experience for the time invested is horrible. It's like here, I started this little instance roughly here, maybe here, and I've gotten about roughly 20% experience, 15-20% experience so far from this. I'm gonna have a quest to turn in at the end, that'll be another big chunk of experience. Dungeons, you're basically left just to mob experience. And some loot that you're very quickly going to end up replacing with just regular greens you find scattered about. You level just too quickly for it to really be worth the time investment for, anyone who's looking and is like, I want to move fast, but... Or not necessarily that they want to move fast, but they just don't want to do something that's kind of pointless in the long run. Because you got to keep in mind, you're going to end up running those dungeons again at level 60. So it's like, I can run them now for... Well, why am I running these now? For some experience that's worse than if I just quested, and some items that I'm going to quickly replace with regular green crap that I find dropping off of every enemy nearby. So, Perfect World. My suggestion, reduce the mob and quest experience slightly and actually encourage your players to go and do some skirmishes in dungeons. Don't necessarily, foundry missions. Encourage them to do foundry missions too while they're leveling up. It's like, oh, these mobs are getting a little tough for me now. I better hop into that dungeon to skirmish or do a foundry. Kind of catch myself up. Not like now where it's, okay, so I finished up the Blacklake district. Let's go ahead and move on to the... I don't remember the next place it's called now. The Tower District. Oh, why am I 3 levels higher than everything? Well, yeah, this sucks. And this does happen in the game. There was a couple zones on my level 60 rogue that I actually ended up skipping entirely because I just out-leveled them. So there's some issues there with the leveling speed that I think they really need to tweak sooner rather than later. And don't even get me started about class balance. We get some new stuff. We hit level 10. Level 10 is like a milestone level. We get a class power, Stealth on tab. We stealth. Pretty simple, straightforward. It adds extra effects to our abilities while we are stealthed. Like Lashing Blades, guaranteed critical hit. Dazing Strike, his activation time is reduced by 50%, so you do it a lot quicker. That's good for PvP. Someone tries to dodge out of the way. Nope, sorry, I activated from stealth, so it's real quick. Deft Strike allows you to teleport to allies and increases the range slightly. Let's see what we can get new power-wise. Level 10, we can get Lurker's Assault, which is freaking awesome. And also Whirlwind of Blades, which is also pretty freaking awesome. I'm going to grab Lurker's Assault first. I'm not going to use it quite yet. I'm going to wait till I get my second slot unlocked. Actually, can I? I thought I could get another class feature already, I guess not. We also get some ability score increases at 10. Let's see, stat bonus, I think I want Dex and Con. Stamina regeneration, damage bonus, dot damage resistance, or just dexterity. Can I do 1 point? Pretty sure it's a control bonus, no, recharge speed. Companion stat bonus, combat damage advantage, or combat advantage damage plus and extra hit points. Gonna go with strength and dex for now. I believe I will be using some points on con as well at some point. I gotta look up what exactly I want to do. I'm gonna basically be recreating my current rogue. I don't remember what I was doing there. And we have an adventurer box, which I did not mean to open. And now, of course, all that stuff got dumped in here. Unfortunately. And now, as far as what do I want for stuff? Extra combat advantage, greater chance to land a critical hit. Sure, why not? Again, I know I got that on my other rogue, which I'm going to be recreating as I play through this Let's Play. And we'll end up going somewhere based off that. And yeah, class balance. That's a whole nother rant altogether, which I'm not going to discuss in this episode. And we have a daily task for domination. We're not going to get into that in this episode. However, is there a chest or something in here I missed? That will be a discussion for probably next episode. I tend to not have many things to talk about, so saving a discussion for another episode, probably not the worst idea. I'm not going to queue up either at the moment for domination. I'm going to save that again for another episode, and we'll just do maybe an episode of that, maybe do a foundry mission or two here and there. And, you know, we'll just do stuff. And that's like, okay, oh, I said my piece, and that's like, I don't know what to talk about again. Yeah, go me. So here, we've been going through the sewer, collecting scrolls, and killing stuff, and we're about to finish this place up as soon as we kill this Worm Priest leader. Bunch of loot on the ground, more of those identification scrolls we had run out of, more nodes I didn't have kits for, and with that, we have retrieved the stuff. Alright. The broken idol we picked up has an exclamation point on it. Okay, I guess I just accepted that already. Oh, and we find a scavenger dagger. Will that be better than what we are currently using? Yes, it is. Let's swap that to the offhand and compare some other equipment we have. Also better. More power is not bad. Do we have any rings? Got some arm pieces. I think those don't start dropping until 15-ish. Flexion, armor penetration, boots. Everything else looks pretty much where it needs to be for the moment. Stats aren't quite important yet. It'll make a huge difference at level 10. So let's go ahead and turn in this quest since we have successfully recovered the idol and stuff from the sewers. They're right across the way somewhere. Where are they? Where are we going? And oh yeah, the frame rate and Protector's Exile. This is a horde of companions that have bugged out and are frozen in place. Whenever you zone out, log out, what have you, your companion will get stuck. They are everywhere. So, yeah, frame rate is going to be horrible in Protector's Enclave for the most
Shove
part.
off.
If I keep saying exile,
You got the
it is
scrolls?
what it is.
Good. Then I got your money. Otley's gonna pull through, by the way, if you care. Kobold bugger popped one of his lungs.
That sounds fun. And you.
My jewelry! You found it.
Indeed. And quest completed.
I should have stayed.
I can dismiss that, get that box out of the way. We should shortly see a pack of phoenixes flying around, if this is anything like it was yesterday. It may not be. Yesterday's... no, those might be players. There was just like this massive horde pack of phoenixes flying all around here. It was kind of amusing. But yeah, so some pretty choppy frame rate. There's just tons and tons of stuff going on in Protector's Enclave. So gotta go back to Commander Knox or Sergeant Knox. I was hoping to get to level... Haha, we do have something there. I was hoping to get to level 11 already today. Not gonna quite meet that mark, but there is something we can start on that I will get into very shortly, and I kind of just showed what I was going to do moments ago. Because couldn't remember, was that 10 or was that level 11? There's two things that I'm going to be kind of doing off on the side of this character, so it's not going to be a consistent Let's Play kind of setup. Just because in both regards, one of them is kind of a background thing that's not particularly important, that I'm just going to kind of do, and the other I'm going to be doing as often as I can or care to. We'll cover what those are, one very shortly, and one in the next episode, more likely than not.
Protector's Enclave needs your help.
Nest egg completed.
Good work. Neverwinter has enough problems without kobolds infesting the sewers. Speaking of problems, I have more work for you if you're interested.
More work.
You've done much to help Neverwinter as an adventurer, but have you considered investing any time or money into pursuing a profession? Much of the city still needs to be reclaimed and restored. The more skilled professionals we have for the process, the better. If you're interested in this, speak to Matari Printal, the professional supplies merchant. She can get you started.
Alright, we'll get a bunch of stuff if we gotta do this. Professions, though, huh? Well, this could be interesting. We are going to be doing, I believe, leadership. I don't know how good exactly the other stuff ends up being. So, who knows? It'll be kind of one of these things that I may regret it later on, or I might be just a genius with my reasoning behind it. It's like, why craft all this stuff? Why level up one of the crafting professions and make myself the stuff I need and make the stuff to sell when I can just do leadership and get astral diamonds for doing leadership itself, and then use those astral diamonds to buy whatever I decide I need. So yeah, as soon as we get over here, we'll go ahead and turn this in and find the NPC.
Do you need supplies? Ah, Sergeant Knox told me you might be dropping by. Professions allow you to gather resources and make items unavailable anywhere else. At times, you may need outside resources for certain activities. That's where I come in. I can supply you with some of the more common resources needed by professions. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The first thing you need to do is hire yourself some good help.
Apparently she's not going to finish her own stuff. Please take a few supplies to get started in your profession. I'm sure we'll both make a mutual profit in the future. Press N to open the profession windows. Indeed. So let's go ahead and open the profession window. And let's choose a task. Let's say leadership. Also applicable, you can just choose the task like that. We could do mailsmithing, platesmithing, leatherworking, or tailoring. I want to go with leadership. Let's go ahead. 5 seconds to complete. 3, 2, 1. The finish now button apparently blocking off the timer bar. Task completed. Alright, so we get a mercenary and leadership experience. Awesome. And all we can do is some basic training. Not a whole lot of story or lore related to this, you just kind of do it. We'll let that wind down while I see what the heck this marker over here is for. I might not have turned in the daily quest completed thing for the Blacklake Terror, or I may just have not taken the daily foundry quest, or the false idols quest.
This idol was once worth a great deal, but I'm afraid with most of the precious stones missing, I can't pay you for it. My mistress, Wiley Ilmarin, is the owner of the Wondrous Bazaar. She is very particular about what I may purchase on her behalf. Perhaps she can make you an offer on it.
Alright then, how about you?
Do you have Astral Diamond? Thank you for bringing this to me. Rix was correct in not paying full price, but it is not entirely worthless. Please, take this scroll of identification for your troubles. If you need more scrolls or enchantments, please come see me again and browse my store.
Indeed. We opened this store up briefly earlier. And yeah, that's the same store that is up here. We can access this from anywhere. There's some rune stones and scrolls and teleport scrolls that are expensive as all hell, and they need to lower the price on that by a lot. There's also some more expensive special items you can get, some equipment, some more equipment, some companions, which we haven't really spoken of yet, aside from saying that they're bugged out and all over the frickin' place in Protector's Enclave. Also some mount training books. So some interesting stuff in there for when we're rich and have lots of astral diamonds later on. Meanwhile, our task has completed once again. And with that, we get another mission. That's not particularly complex to do. Until we hit level 2, we're basically stuck with these quick little nonsense missions that really don't do much of anything. So, I'm gonna just kind of be doing this, unless something of note happens, I'm not really gonna be talking about it or mentioning it much. If you look at the task, you can see getting tongue-tied. There's some loot chests you can get. I'll save those and open those during the Let's Plays, and there's some profession experience, combat experience. If I show the higher level tasks, you can see there are astral diamonds hidden in amongst them. There's some other better rewards. So, there's some interesting stuff you can get from professions. For now, though, that's going to be... Yeah, we're leaving the names of companions that are probably not exactly allowed under the rules alone. For now, though, that's going to be it for this episode of Let's Play Neverwinter. Next time, we will be... going to the Tower District. And starting up on a whole new big series of things. Maybe we'll do a PvP match, we'll queue up, and if it happens, it happens. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, rate, and/or subscribe, and have a great day.